Greetings and salutations. My name is OJ as always, and welcome to what will be the first episode of the Overwatchathon, a series of videos where I go over every single character in, well, Overwatch. I'll be going in alphabetical order, starting with supports, and in these videos I'll be covering their lore and personality, their gameplay and abilities, as well as their base designs, as well as some of their cosmetics, because I enjoy talking about cosmetics and analysing them and the such. But with that said, today's object of obsession is the woman that changed the game, that being Ana Amari. Now, as I'm going to do in every single one of these videos, I'd like to start by reading about Ana's lore and telling you some of it, obviously. Do keep in mind though, for these segments, I'm going to attempt to kind of shorten down the lore, because there is literally pages upon pages for some of these characters. So to save you sitting here for the next 50 minutes listening to me read stuff out word for word, I'm going to kind of like abbreviate and summarize things. And if you wish to obviously see it in full, I would suggest obviously go looking it up yourself. But with that said, her lore begins with her early life. That being that Ana was born in Cairo to a long line of distinguished military veterans. And with that sort of lineage, from a young age, she learnt how to handle a rifle and was an expert marksman by the time she finished high school. Not long after graduation, she enlisted into the army, where she had two basic rules drilled into her head. Never hesitate and never look away, and cover your team at all costs. Said rules are going to come into play a little bit later, that first one especially. She was taught how to do basic medical, and she later became a part of the El Sarkar forces, I believe that's how you say that, which are like a specialized segment of the Egyptian military, and she quickly became regarded as one of the world's best snipers, and that was before she had her right eye replaced with a cybernetic implant, which then just obviously improved her abilities even further. During this same time, she also met a man named Sam English, a Canadian diplomat, and they had a sort of on and off casual relationship for a while, until Ana realized that she was pregnant. The two married and then settled down in Cairo, and Ana quickly gave birth to her daughter, Fariha, who obviously some of you also may know as Farah. 6 years after the birth of Fariha, the Omnic Crisis began. The war inflicted a heavy toll on Egypt, and the undermanned security forces relied on snipers such as Ana to kind of get them through a lot of these battles. And with Ana's already high skills, she was able to almost single-handedly sway certain battles just with her presence being there. The truth of that claim is a bit iffy, but most of the people of Egypt at the time did believe it, and she became a symbol for soldiers around the globe, proof that hard work, dedication, and talent could still prevail against the never-ending forces that were the Omnics. That natural sort of superiority in battle led to her being a selection to join the initial strike team of Overwatch, becoming one of its founding members as a result, alongside characters such as Jack Morrison and Gabriel Reyes, who of course went on to become Soldier 76 and Reaper respectively. The both of them were American, those two men I just mentioned, and many try to accuse that Ana's inclusion was having made secret concessions with the United States, and many of them also criticized her gender and nationality, claiming that she was being tokenized to hide the American exceptionalism that some claimed was at the heart of Overwatch, ignoring the fact that two of the other members of Overwatch's initial strike team were German and Swedish, and one of them, if I remember rightly, was from Thailand. So, American exceptionalism when only two of the original members were American? Bit stupid, really. And as a result, Gabriel Reyes proceeded to shut down those claims completely. He does have a little speech listed about what he says, which is, I'm not going to read that out for you because I don't want to extend the video too much. But anyways, inside of Egypt, Ana's recruitment into Overwatch was similarly contentious. Due to her exceptional abilities in the Egyptian fights, many actually saw it as a mistake for her to go off to Overwatch because it would remove a part of the manpower in Egypt's forces. But even despite those concerns, the Egyptian governments kind of saw the commitment to Overwatch was greater than the military. So sending Ana off to Overwatch would have done more good for the world than keeping her here in Egypt to continue fighting singular battles. During combat in the field with the rest of the strike team, during the first couple weeks of their kind of deployment, Ana never fell asleep during actual time out in the field. She would use the explosions to determine how many Omnics there were and how far away they were, kind of like a more dangerous version of checking how far away thunder and lightning is. And during one of these said sort of sleepless nights, her daughter asked her whether or not the Omnics were going to attack them after an explosion rang out, and Ana silently resolved that her daughter would never feel fear like this again. That resolve to never let her daughter experience something like that, it did kind of inadvertently become a hindrance to their relationship later on, which of course I will discuss. Moving on from that though, Ana during the crisis mentored many of the other agents at, obviously, Overwatch, and successfully led multiple missions. She also played a large part in the assault on Cairo, which after the Awakening, which of course led to many Omnics gaining sentience and Anubis, the rogue god program controlling them, losing many of its forces, they had about 9 days at most before Anubis could recover from that blow. So, with the help of the Egyptian military and Ana's intimate knowledge of the city, they were able to get into Cairo and effectively shut down Anubis's hold that he had on the city. Which, I mean, as a result, they basically won the war. Like, for the most part, Ana plays a key role in just winning the war, the Omnic crisis. Like, she just helped them win it, just full stop. And soon after, a operation known as White Dome was carried out, where they were assigned to deal with some Omnics still loyal to Anubis. Ana led this strike team, and during said assignment, they took heavy fire. Someone like Torbjorn was also alongside them during that strike team, and he was severely injured, losing his arm, which is why he has that like weird claw arm that he does now. The mission was a success, but after the attack, Ana commended Wilhelm for his quick thinking and grace under pressure, because Wilhelm ended up saving Torbjorn. If Reinhardt hadn't been there, Torbjorn would have been dead, right? So, even going so far to suggest that he should be rewarded for his actions in the field, which is a bit vague, but hey-ho. With the Omnic crisis done and dusted, Overwatch continued to expand in size and mission scope. Ana served for many, many years as Jack Morrison's second-in-command, later becoming the third-in-command. She raised her daughter Fariha during this time, instructing her in martial arts, and despite her responsibilities in leading the organisation, Ana continued and even refused to step away from combat operations. And even then, as third-in-command, Ana had little free time. What time she had was divided between Fariha and the training of the next generation of Egyptian military snipers. Many questioned the idea of, training people for war, even if they obviously were Ana was part of an organisation dedicated to preventing future conflict, and yet she was still training people for war. The reason for this is Ana lacked the idealism to believe that war was a concept that humanity could ever move past, and she is quite fair in thinking that. As we've seen throughout history, like 2,000 years, even more on this planet, humans will continuously get into wars over almost nothing. A lot of times it is usually nothing. It's usually a difference in politics in some way, shape or form. So she is fair to have that sort of belief. And during this same time on a familial front, Ana became aware of her daughter's desire to join Overwatch herself, but was quite firmly against it. And that fact led to a strained relationship between the two of them. Eventually, there was an instance where Fariha asked for a toy rifle, and Ana refused, telling her daughter that she'd shoot her eye out. Very ironic. Very, very ironic. It even says on the wiki right here that she later came to regret her comments. I wonder why. Not to make fun of her, but I do wonder why. Similarly, she also came to regret dissuading Fariha from joining Overwatch. And for the most part, Ana was considered one of the sort of poster figures of Overwatch. Her face was plastered on a lot of recruitment posters, and I did not know this, but in universe, there was an Overwatch cartoon, which that feels really odd. An Overwatch cartoon based off of the actual real military organization that saved the world. I mean, I get why there would be an Overwatch cartoon in universe, but that's still kind of very silly to me. Moving on from that fact, in the kind of 6 years after the crisis, Ana would still participate in a few missions and the such. There's a few references to her being responsible for the assassination of the Vygotsky kingpins, which, to our knowledge, were set of brothers who ran some sort of gang, well, obviously kingpins, and she managed to get a double kill on them, as in 1 bullet, 2 men dead just like that. But she derived no satisfaction from that double kill. And that is a thing that pops up a few times with Ana as she grows older, that she begins to lose any sort of sense of anything from killing people. She doesn't really enjoy it in any way. She doesn't feel any happiness whenever a mission goes well, if she had to kill someone. And it was just she kind of just loses the, I don't know. It's completely understandable that you wouldn't get any enjoyment from killing people, of course, but still. And moving on further, when Fariha was 14, she and her mother argued about Fariha joining Overwatch. This argument was very messy, like so damn messy, that after the argument, they didn't speak for 2 months straight. Like, that's a long time not to speak to your kid. It's pretty bad. Still moving forward in the timeline, 7 years before the present day, as in obviously when Overwatch 1 took place, 7 years wise, the King's Row uprising occurred, which is of course when Null Sector sent in forces to King's Row to rebel and liberate the people stuck in the undercity of London. I mean, completely fair shout, really. You know King's Row, the actual map, the Overwatch map? You know that payload that you deploy in there? That's an EMP to kill all of the Omnics in the slums. You know when you fall down the holes on the side of the final point? Those are literally just rows upon rows of buildings where Omnics are forced to live because people in London are so damn racist that they do not want to see Omnics. Out of sight, out of mind, that sort of stuff. So I've never really been against Null Sector for the most part, so this part is a bit finicky for me. But anyways, Ana kind of provided comms assistance during the battle. She did actually want to go in herself, but Morrison, as in Soldier 76, relented and said to send in other agents, those being obviously the ones you played as in the game mode, Mercy, Tracer, Reinhardt and Torbjorn, to end the crisis. And as I mentioned, Ana gave status updates to the 4 agents. In her quote-unquote elder years, Ana recruited Freya into Overwatch to lead the organization's burgeoning search and rescue branch, which, I mean, of course, was never mentioned until Freya's inclusion. Ana was later then present in Polynesia when the Overwatch strike team engaged the Deep Sea Raiders, which I believe is a group that at the time Malgua was responsible for, I think? Either way, after that sort of engagement, they were responsible for evacuating civilians. However, Reyes moved in his forces before the search and rescue team could finish evacuating, leading to 14 civilian deaths, which is really, really bad if you know anything about military operations. And an enraged Emre Sarioglu, how do you say his last name? Sarioglu? I think that's how you say it. Confronted Morrison on the matter, and Ana watched the entire confrontation play out, not seemingly giving her, like, 2 cents on the issue for some reason or another. But either way, her final mission was an anti-Talon operation conducted by Overwatch in Poland. During this mission, an operative known as Widowmaker was able to take out a number of agents, and said operation eventually ended in a sniper duel between herself and Ana. And as they made their way through the urban terrain, Ana was able to temporarily incapacitate Widowmaker, hitting her in the helmet. But upon seeing Widowmaker's face, she failed to do one of the first things she was ever taught. She froze up. She recognized Widowmaker as Emily, a person, of course, that she knew from in Overwatch, because, of course, she was Gerard's wife, who was kind of a funder. I think he was like an investor in Overwatch. He had a lot of money put into it and kind of funded a lot of their operations. So, of course, they would all know who Emily was. And in that time where she froze up, that was all it took for Widowmaker to take her own shot, shooting Ana through the scope of her rifle and into her cybernetic eye. And for most, they believe that the shot killed her. In truth, she did actually survive that encounter despite being gravely wounded, and her cybernetic eye that she obviously used to be such a good sniper, of course she had the skills anyways, but that definitely helped. It was destroyed completely. The world, for the most part, believed that she was dead, and they even gave her full honours posthumously. She spent years in a coma, and was treated under the Polish generic of Jania Kowalski by a person called Dr. Lee. And as Ana's memory returned, she requested that Lee retain her anonymity. Lee obliged, and Ana was kept out of the system, which helped ensure that Overwatch never managed to find her. During her months-long recovery, she was able to recall the details of the mission. She even let her daughter believe that she was dead for the longest time, as she reasoned that Fariha would expect Captain Amari to return home. However, with that moment of hesitation in her sniper duel with Widowmaker, she realised that she had changed. Years later, however, she'd come to regret her decision to leave Fariha in the dark. And if you're curious how she, survived a sniper shot into the eyeball, my guess is that little line where it says that it went through the scope first. Because it went through the scope first, obviously there is kind of it would obviously slow down how fast the bullet was going, how much power it had behind it and such, which then would result in it not being like a necessary instant, explosion, kill, whatever you would say. But now, with her being basically AWOL, well, by all accounts she was dead, she now just kind of wrestled with the thoughts of what she had done in her life, like how she had spent, a life in combat, and she chose to stay out of the growing conflicts of the world. She heard about the destruction of Overwatch headquarters and the death, in huge quotes, of Jack Morrison, and now she kind of just walked around. She's kind of travelled. She apparently passed through Junkertown once or twice, and then eventually ended up returning to Cairo, where she had planned originally to live quietly so that she could be near her daughter. However, the longer she lived there, she realised that Overwatch was responsible for the problems plaguing Cairo, and as time passed, she realised she couldn't sit on the sidelines anymore and decided to kind of get back into the fight through an alias known as Shrike, which of course many of you probably remember from, well, I say many of you, some of you may remember from the teasers that led up to Ana's initial inclusion into the game. The one with the cool blue mask that everyone believed at the time was, Sombra. I was there for it. I mean, I wasn't very intelligent, nor was I very old, but still, I was there for it. I've owned Overwatch since it first came out. I'm very proud of that fact. Kinda, sorta, partially proud of that fact. But either way, trying to sum up this part, because there is actually so much lore for Ana, it's ridiculous. She's been around for a long ass time, and as a result she has a lot. But either way, she took on the alias of Shrike, and decided to just go around bounty hunting people in Egypt, trying to clear up the streets. Think of her as Egypt's Batman, in a sense. She was taking out crime gangs, crime leaders, stuff like that. And eventually she drew attention from Talon, and by a result, Reaper as well, of course, that definitely not being Gabriel Reyes, and she also drew the attention of Jack Morrison, even though of course he was meant to be quote-unquote dead. The both of them then sort of teamed up to fight a crime gang called, what was his name? Abdul Hakim. So they attempted to obviously take him out in Cairo. They were left with the realization that, or after a fight with Reaper, right? She actually managed to unmask Reaper. That gave her the realization that the both of them, obviously Jack and Reyes, were both still alive. And the two of them kind of just chill and kind of just discuss how their lives have been and what they've been doing in the time since, of course, leaving Overwatch, and both of them, quote-unquote, dying. The both of them share a lot of similarities in obviously being older characters, people who have seen a lot of shit, and for the most part they did kind of disagree on what they wanted to do with Talon. She explained her motivations for what she was doing in Egypt with all of the bounty hunting and taking out crime gangs, but claimed that Jack's crusade against Talon was based on revenge. They both disagreed on how to approach things. Jack focused on the larger threat of Talon, whilst Ana wanted to focus on Cairo and cleaning up the streets there. But either way, the two of them eventually did manage to team up and work together properly. And they managed to take on Hakim's forces and associates and managed to kind of round them up. Ana even took on a persona known as Bastet, which is of course what that skin that they gave out for free was based off of. And a week later, Hakim and all of his organization had been captured and dismantled. And her actions as Bastet had caught the attention of Egypt's media, and even forced the government to act. Still suffering from some wounds that he had received from Reaper, the two of them were then forced to visit Mercy, who was currently based in Cairo. And during the time where they, visited Mercy, Talon then decided to attack a Temple of Anubis facility. And with the three of them, they engaged in firefight with Talon soldiers, and Morrison caught sight of Reaper. And despite there being people to save, a soldier just ignored that idea. He just went in straight after Reaper, heading into the smoky haze that covered the site, with Ana warily covering his back. They later found Ziegler, and helping her, they helped the children that she had helped rescue from the rubble. That's, I believe, where that shot comes from, the original cinematic, where she, like, where's the kid in the rubble? You've all seen memes around the shot of Ana holding, like, her hand out and stuff. I think that's actually where that comes from, funny enough. And just before the time where the two of them, or the three of them, have all sort of met up, Winston had sent out his recall, which of course many of you know as well, and they discussed the issue of the matter of the recall that Winston had sent out. But besides that, they didn't really, like, Ana and Mercy kind of discussed their respective choices post-Overwatch, including of course the matter of recall, but she still decided to follow Morrison in his pursuit of Reaper into Europe. And in regards to the recall itself, Ana remained uncertain about the order, but decided still to help her comrades from the shadows. One such way she helped out her comrades was by meeting up with Jesse, it says Jesse McCree, because at the time that was obviously what they all knew him as. His name is of course right now Cole Cassidy, but at the time his name was McCree, and the two of them met up, tried to have a little discussion. Talon showed up, tried to shoot them, they shot Talon, and then eventually Ana gave him a USB stick which had data containing on threats that she had been monitoring, as well as the number of individuals she had been tracking, some of those being Diva, Zarya, and her own daughter, Farah, or Fariha. That sort of leads into Overwatch 2 a bit, because obviously some of those characters end up joining into the group in Overwatch 2's PvE missions. So this kind of like set up for Overwatch's 2 story in a sense, just having McCree and Ana team up, and Ana obviously had, as she mentioned, she wanted to keep eyes on her, or help out her allies from the shadows. So instead of getting actually involved in the fights of Overwatch 2, she instead manages to recruit like new talent to help them out. Obviously, by new talent, they do definitely mean it. Like, Diva's like, what, 19? She's young as shit. Same goes for Zarya. She's relatively young to my knowledge as well. But either way, McCree then agreed to track these targets, and in the meantime, now McCree had been going by his original name of Cassidy after he used the USB to track down Farah, and now brought Farah and Ana back together after I don't know how many years, probably like 7, 8 years. The two of them had a discussion. Talon attacked as they always do. That's really weird, actually. Like, what is it with Ana and just getting attacked by Talon all the damn time? Oh, hey McCree, let's meet up and talk about stuff. Bang, Talon. Oh, hey daughter, I want to have a lovely mother and daughter time with you. Bang, Talon. Either way, they showed up, they defeated them, Ana treated her wounds, and then we move on to even further stuff about her trying to, like, obviously a lot of her stuff is just chasing Talon, like, almost all the time. Like, even after fighting or talking with her daughter and reconciling, not completely, they don't completely kind of just get back to friendly terms and the such. Like, the final goodbye between the two of them is Farah hugging her mother and saying, "It's good to see you again. I wasn't sure I'd ever get the chance." Like, that's a sweet way to end their story. But beyond that, now Ana joined up with Morrison to hunt down Talon. Just in general, not specifically Reaper, just hunt down Talon agents, special people of interests, or even just a whole group of grunts and the such. And a lot of their hunts took them literally across the globe, finding out all bits and pieces. And during the same time, this is when Overwatch 2's PvE missions are kind of taking place, with Null Sector now launching their second invasion on a global scale and the such. And not much really happens here with the two of them, outside of a single instance near the end where they discuss the issue of, Winston reforming Overwatch and whether or not they should join up. But Morrison refused. Like, it would arouse, because he said that it would arouse further suspicion if he had joined a larger organization and could potentially put, like, Talon's eyes specifically onto Overwatch and potentially ruin whatever good they may end up to do. The final confrontation between the two of them ended with Morrison giving Ana a sort of data drive of people on Talon's hit list, And now she decides to protect those people on that hit list, including, you know, Overwatch members and the such, just to protect them. Just full stop. That is her role now. She wishes to protect people. She doesn't want to hurt people, and instead is taking on the role of a protector to kind of like make up, in a sense, for what she has done and how many lives she has taken. And that's a decent enough story. Ana is one of these characters who has like unbelievable amounts of lore. Like, this is very much a brief summary. I know we're 25 minutes in, but this is very much a brief summary of what happened. That last bit at the end, where I'm discussing obviously the final meet-up between Morrison and Ana, that is very much just like me shrinking down like 5 paragraphs as easily as I can. I do apologize if it's a tad bit messy, but either way, Ana's sort of lore and history is interesting. There is a lot here, a lot of sort of stuff about regret and whether or not, you know, killing bad guys. Is killing in the name of good a bad thing? That sort of stuff. Because God knows how many people she killed. Apparently she had one of the highest kill counts in the Egyptian army, which is like kind of insane, actually. And people claim that she was a perfect shot and stuff like that. There's even stuff about her like disliking causing needless suffering, so she would always try to get like clean kills, like just simple headshots and the such like that. But Ana is an interesting character to me. I don't think she's one of my favourites, obviously, but she is interesting. She has a lot of history, a lot of lore, and personality-wise, which is something I'm going to try and discuss a little tiny bit, is now, obviously, her personality in-game is now very much mellowed out. Per her role, or per her now want to become a protector, she, personality-wise, is very much like a grandmother. A lot of her interactions, or a lot of her voice lines, are very grandmother-esque. Like, whenever she shoots you, sometimes she say, "Oh, it's just a scratch, you'll be fine." Something like that. That's kind of like sweet grandmother talk. And I do wish that I could play some of these voice lines, but usually I would kind of just download them off of the wiki. But for some reason, if you try to click Save As on the wiki's voice line sections, it just tries to save the entire damn web page. So, as a kind of make up for that, I'll leave a link in the comments or description to like voice lines from Ana, because I do think a lot of them are quite interesting. A lot of her interactions with, say, like Reaper and Soldier are interesting ones, because obviously those characters have a lot of history. And I need to give my props to her voice actress, which is Aisha Selim, who, funny enough, has not actually voice acted in really anything besides Overwatch. Like, her first ever, or one of her first ever voice roles was Ana Amari. Oh, no, it was her first ever voice role, actually. So, yeah. The only other work she's done is for, funny enough, other Blizzard games, such as World of Warcraft and Diablo 2 Resurrected. But she does a very, very good job at playing this sort of older grandmother type, who is quite sweet, caring for those that need it. And she also has a few funny lines whenever she's, like, sleeps someone and the such. And speaking of course, sleeping and the such, I feel like now is a fair time to move on to talking about her gameplay and abilities. For this segment, I'll be using OBS to record my audio and gameplay simultaneously, so if I sound a little bit weird in the transition, I do apologise in advance. But, of course, Ana is an interesting character. She has a lot of lore to her, and I don't really know how I feel about it. It's interesting enough, it's fine enough, but it's nothing that really blows my socks off or whatever. Personality-wise, she's lovely, of course. I like the old grandmother stereotype in a sense. But yeah, with all of that said, let's now move on to talking about her gameplay and her abilities. Right, so here we are in the ever lovely and ever helpful training range to talk about Ana's gameplay and her abilities, of course. And when it comes to talking about her gameplay, I will be using or talking about her in normal game sense. She is in Overwatch's stadium mode with all of her lovely powers. Funny enough, this season that just came out yesterday, she got reworked. She got like 4 new powers or 4 powers that replaced the other 4. You get the idea. They replaced some powers with some new ones. But I'll be talking about her in the normal gameplay format, so 5v5, 6v6, because obviously, well, that's what most people probably play, and a lot of the cast isn't in Stadium, so there'd be no point in me discussing Stadium stuff when I get to someone like, I don't know, Bastion, who's not in Stadium yet. I hope he gets added, though. I'm actually quite interested to see what they do with him. But anyways, enough of me rambling. Let's start with her gun, known as the Biotic Rifle. It says it's a long-ranged rifle that heals allies and damages enemies, and it also has a zoom-in. So, this is a very useful tool that they've added. I don't know why they didn't really they mentioned it in a developer video, but they didn't actually really show it very well. But you can actually now hover over stuff in the hero stuff to see the specific damage numbers. So as you can see right here, she has 15 bullets in her mag. It takes 1.5 seconds to reload it. It is see, I don't know why it says armor piercing. What does that even mean? What does armor piercing mean? I can show deals damage to armor as if it was health. I didn't know our gun did that, actually. That's weird. I had no idea. Either way, it does 75 damage over time, or 75 healing over time. It takes 0.6 seconds to do the full total damage, or healing. And that's the special thing about Ana. She can shoot people and damage them, or she can shoot allies and heal them, for the specified amounts that were on the screen as you saw. This is a very, 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 very good gun. Per the title of the video, Ana is the character that broke this game or changed the game, something like that. You'll probably see it. I don't remember if it was broke or changed. She was the first ever addition to the game. So from base roster, she was the first ever character added. I believe it was in July of 2016. And she just straight up is a game changer. Because she, at the time, right, like if we pull up the hero gallery now, right, at the time, the only supports in the game were Lucio, Mercy, Zen, and Symmetra, wherever she is. Symmetra. Symmetra was in the support category at the time. She was a support. She gave out shields. Trust me, she was very, 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 very bad. She did eventually get moved over to the defense role, and then eventually DPS once all that got homogenized. But Ana was the first ever added character, and more importantly, added support. And she just changed the game. She does insane damage, like, all things considered. This is very good damage for, like, a support. Like, what is that, 4 shots to kill an enemy? That's not bad at all. And her healing is very good as well. Like, she does good healing, good damage. And when not aimed down sights, it is a projectile weapon. Like, as you can see, there is, like, a little dart that comes out and has to travel a certain distance. Like, if I look at this enemy here, oh, dead. If I look at this friendly here, it doesn't immediately hit the second I click my left mouse. However, that does change if you aim down sights, where it then becomes a hit scan, which of course is useful for hitting targets that are quite fast and moving, or, you know, hitting flying targets, and it can deal with like mercies flying around if, say, your team doesn't have a hit scan in like Ashe or Cassidy. Her healing is good. It's good up close. Like, I would personally recommend that from a longer distance, you use the, obviously, scope down sights thing for better aim and the such. And up close and personal, you would use, you know, unscoped shots to do damage, or, you know, you can use unscoped shots from a distance, if needs be. An issue that I've noticed a lot of Anas do is that they literally sit 20 miles back, however, and that, I need to get this out off my chest. Stop doing that. Stop sitting so far back. Stop. I understand Ana is a sniper. She has long range. She can heal from a long range, and that's one of the benefits about her. She can fight or heal from a distance. But stop sitting like 20 miles back. I've had games where I've been here, like where that bot is, I've been there, the Ana will be there, like right up in that corner. I don't know what it is with Anas, they just have this tendency to sit so far back, it is a detriment. So please, do not do that. I need to get that off my chest now. Do not sit 20 miles back, and someone who may watch this video may know exactly who I'm talking to. I know you do it. You do it. Stop it. Either way, her gun is very good. Very good, actually. She is a meta-defining character. She is, as per the title of the video, she changed the game. The damage and healing is good. The aim down sights hit scan is great. The reload time isn't really that bad. The magazine time is very high. She just does it all, and obviously, as I now know, she can actually just do flat damage to armor. So someone like a tank like Reinhardt or Ramatra, who have like copious amounts of armor, they'll still take the 75 damage no matter what. Because armor, for those that don't know, does actually like give you some form of damage reduction. It's not like an insane amount, right? But it's a small amount, right? But either way, her gun is very good. Unbelievably good, even. I do also have to mention that when you're aiming down sights, you get a move speed penalty of 65% or minus 65%. I feel like that's worth mentioning. So as you can see, if I move normally and then aim down sights, you get much slower. Either way, let's talk about her first ability, which is known as the sleep dart. Pretty self-explanatory, really. You fire a dart that puts an enemy to sleep. Simple, right? The sleep will last for 5 seconds on a normal target, 3.5 seconds on a tank, and there is a 0.5 second delay minimum before waking up. It does 5 damage on impact, which can kill someone. It's very rare that it does, but either way, it can kill someone, and it takes 0.5 seconds to actually wake up. Now, obviously, when you press shift, you will fire a dart, puts an enemy to sleep, and they'll just be laying there completely just out of it. They can't move in any way, shape, or form for those full 5 seconds. Of course, if it's, say, a tank of some kind, say, this is usually my beating up toy, Roadhog. I just like beating him up for some reason. But obviously, you saw how long it lasted on the bot. I shoot Roadhog, lay down on the ground, and then he'll be up quicker than everyone else. The sleep dart is a kind of neutralization tool. If there is a target jumping you, such as, I don't know, say Roadhog has actually managed to hook you and pull you in, you sleep dart him and run away as far as you can. If there's a Genji running around, dash, zipping, etc., and maybe he's dragon blading, if you're a good enough Ana, you can hit the sleep dart. I would like to note as well that the sleep dart is a projectile. It is not a hit scan. You will have to kind of aim ahead of the target if you're trying to track someone. So please do keep that in mind. But the sleep dart is a very, very strong tool. It completely removes an enemy from a fight. Like, if you manage to hit this on a priority target, say there's a Widowmaker that's just kind of ruining your team's day. If you manage to sleep dart her before a push, she's just out of the game, assuming no one shoots her, of course. Because, as it mentioned, if you shoot someone, they will immediately wake up instead. But you can also, of course, use the sleep dart as a, killing tool. If you manage to sleep a, say, aggressive Tracer or an aggressive Genji, you can just do a combo with your second ability, that being the Biotic Grenade, to, for the most part, one-shot them. I'm not very good at the combo. I'm sure you saw me fumble it in a lot of the B-roll footage in the background at the beginning of the video, but still, you can one-shot some characters if they're on a slow enough health pool. But this is a very good ability. You literally just point it at a target, you put them to sleep, you can stop enemies from ulting a lot of the time, just like as a point of reference. Someone like, say, Sigma, if the Sigma's in the air, you can just sleep him and it will cancel his ult completely. Someone like, I don't know, Junker Queen, assuming she doesn't have the perk that makes her unstoppable, you can actually sleep her in the middle of her ult as well. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do. Like, you can even sleep Bob if you feel like it. Do keep in mind, though, that Bob does have the tank passive, so he will only be asleep for 3.5 seconds instead of the full duration. But, like, Cassidy, that's a good example as well. If he's in the middle of High Noon, you can just fire the sleep dart at him and it cancels it completely. Like, she can cancel ults, she can get rid of priority targets if she manages to sleep them, she can ruin a tank's day, and of course, the sleep very much combines well with her second ability, known as the Biotic Grenade. This ability is why I have titled the video the way I have. Obviously, as I titled the video, I believe it's changed the game or broke the game, again, as I said. The reason I've titled it that is because this grenade does 75 damage or healing, depending on who it hits, and if it hits an ally, it increases their healing received by 50%, and that lasts for 3 seconds, and the radius of said explosion is 4 meters. But more importantly, if you damage an enemy, it will prevent all healing. All of it. Nothing goes through it. It is all prevented for that 3 seconds. 3 seconds doesn't sound like a long time, but as I'm sure many of you know, being antied, or that's the term that I use for it, like anti-heal, antied, you get the idea. Being antied is the worst thing that could ever happen to you if there is not a Kiriko on your team. That is the only thing that counters this ability. Kiriko has an ability known as Suzu, which cleanses debuffs. The anti-heal is counted as a debuff, and this is stupid. This is a stupid ability. Just to show it, obviously, in practice, what it looks like, you press E, you throw the grenade, and as you can see, the enemy is now antied. If you throw it at an ally target, they will instead get extra bonus healing, but the anti is just such a game-changing ability. The anti-heal is a genuine counter to like 90% of the game. Like, Roadhog. What can Roadhog do if he is antied? Be a fat target to die immediately with no way to heal himself? Yeah. And any tank can get hard countered by anti. Junker Queen gets her life screwed over because obviously she benefits a lot from her self-heal on her wounds. Roadhog Roadhog might not, you do not play Roadhog if there is an Ana. If there is an Ana, just don't play him. Unless your team has Kiriko, do not play Roadhog. Just don't. It's not worth getting antied and just dying instantly. Characters like Ramatra can be countered by anti, because obviously at times he will want to be very aggressive when using obviously Nemesis form, and if he gets antied, he's screwed. Malgua gets hard countered by anti, because he can't use his self-heal on his ability to, just shoot people and heal himself. Anything and everything. Not being able to heal is just an awful thing for everyone. Everyone in the game. I don't think there's a single character that doesn't, get screwed over by anti. The only characters I can think of that kind of just don't care is, Zarya. That's probably it. Because Zarya's bubbles also cleanse debuffs, so she can just cleanse anti. But, and of course, Kiriko can also cleanse anti as well, but her cleanse is on, a 16-second cooldown or something? And how long is the cooldown for Bio Grenade, you ask? It's 14 seconds. 14 seconds for one of the strongest abilities in the game. I'm obviously just discussing the anti part of it, mind you. I'm not even acknowledging the fact that you can, of course, just lob this thing at a teammate and, increase the amount of healing you do by 50%. For Ana, that results in every single one of her shots dealing 125, healing. That's really damn good. And of course, the increased healing applies to any healing effects. So if you're on a team with any other support, which of course in every game of Overwatch you will be, all of their healing will be increased. If you're on a team with a character that self-heals in any way, shape or form, such as the aforementioned Junker Queen, Malgua, they will get increased healing as well from their own abilities. Roadhog, funny enough, benefits a lot from Ana on his team because it increases the amount of healing he does with his Take a Breather. This ability is insane, and the fact it is on a 14-second cooldown is unbelievable. Ana has consistently been one of the most meta characters in Overwatch forever because of Biotic Grenade. Biotic Grenade is just a stupidly strong ability because it's not limited to how you really use it. If you're in a big team fight, you can a lot of the time just run into both your team and their team and just throw it at the floor, because now your entire team has increased healing, they're all anti-healed. Well, you can't do anything if you're antied. I'm sorry, it took them how many years to introduce a counter? Overwatch 1 came out in, 2016? And then Overwatch 2 came out in, I believe, 2022? 2022, 2021? It took them, 5-6 years to give us a counter to Biotic Grenade. And even then, the counter is on a longer cooldown than the Biotic Grenade. Excuse you? It took them that same amount of time to ever introduce another character with anti in Junker Queen. But Junker Queen's anti is on her ultimate. The thing that you spend, most of the game without. Ana's just throwing this shit out every 15 seconds, 14 seconds. What? Why is she allowed to do this? What? This is just dumb ability. This is such a stupid ability. And if you add that into the fact of her having, really good healing, her sleep, which can just completely negate certain characters from doing anything. And as I mentioned, you can sleep someone, anti them, and then just shoot them and punch them. That is a good combo to just kill someone. Tracer. If Tracer gets slept, it's game over immediately. Because the thing is, if you just anti them on sleep, now they have to get up from the recovery thing, which admittedly is only 0.5 seconds. But now they have to deal with the fact that they are probably surrounded by yourself and maybe another teammate or two, and they're antied, so they can't be healed in any way, shape or form, assuming, of course, that Kiriko doesn't, cleanse it. But there is instances where Ana will sleep a target, Kiriko will cleanse them to get the sleep off them, and then they'll get antied afterwards. So they've just used the cleanse to get rid of the sleep, but now don't have the cleanse to get rid of the anti. So it's not even like Kiriko's a hard counter to Ana. Hell, one of the best comps for the longest time was Ana and Kiriko, because now you were applying the debuffs and removing them, which is very, very dumb. And guess what? It only gets worse from here, because we need to talk about her ult, which is also game-changing and also one of the strongest abilities in the entire game, which is, of course, Nano Boost. This is a very loaded ability. It does have quite a long ult cooldown. It does take a while to build up to. Obviously, if you're better at Ana than I am, you will be able to get it very often. I would expect you to get, or most people to get, maybe 2-3 uses out of it a game. Maybe 4 if you're really good. It gives you, or you shoot it at a target, and it gives them 50% extra damage. So they just deal 50% more damage flat. they take 50% less damage, it instantly heals them for 250 health, has a 8-second duration, and the range for it to be shot to an enemy or ally is 40 meters. And this ability will ignore barriers when targeting allies. So say, like, I don't know, say your Genji's fighting in behind a Reinhardt's barrier, like the enemy Reinhardt standing in front of you, Genji's behind him, you can still nano him through the barrier. Do you see, look at the list of buffs and just tell me that's not the stupidest thing ever. It's kind of hard to show, of course, what it looks like. I mean, of course I could just kind of, well, actually, no, it's not that hard. If I just, let's let this bot shoot, right? See that damage? Then if I shoot nano at him, a little bit more damage. Now he takes less damage from everything. He does more damage. He gets the instant heal, as you saw, immediately. This is a dumb ability ult as well. It's a very much a combo reliant ult, though, I will admit. You can't just kind of throw this thing out willy-nilly. You do need to kind of wait and think about when you're using it. The most obvious example is Genji. Him using his Dragon Blade and then nanoing him makes him this unkillable, very, very fast, very high damage dealing monster. Genji is very mobile as is. Dragon Blade is a very good ult as is, even if it does take quite a while to build up to and does require you to be quite smart when using it. But if you just give him Nano Blade, the blade already like two-shots people anyways, like most squishy targets, like most DPSs get two-shotted by Blade. So now you're giving him 50% more damage. Now he's able to contest tanks. Like he can like 2, 3, 4-shot people, like tanks. Excuse you? And by the way, when you use Nano, you're still active as Ana. You can still run around and throw anti and sleep people and the such, whilst your Nano target is just going insane. Like, there are other characters as well. Like, anyone can really benefit from Nano. It's actually really scary how good Nano can make some characters. I'm sure you've all seen the jokes about nanoing a Mercy and then having her run in and Valkyrie, but that is a kind of viable thing to do sometimes, because with Valk, Mercy is able to just fly around zippy Zuzar and shoot people like they can't even touch her when she's in Valk. Like, she is very hard to hit. So she's just flying about, getting the extra damage, getting the extra reduced damage received. She actually can kill people and do a lot of damage. But the usual go-to, if in case you can't really like combo with your teammates, or maybe you're not on comms, maybe you're not playing with a friend that you can combo with, usually you just nano the tank. It's usually quite a safe bet. The majority, I don't think there's not a single tank that doesn't benefit from it in some way, shape, or form. Like, everyone gets benefit. Like, Doomfist can one-shot kill people with Nano, because his punch, if it hits, obviously, if the enemy punched hits a wall, yeah, you can just one-shot people. It's kind of absurd with any tank, really. Any DPS. Most DPSs can benefit from it. I don't really, like, I nanoed a Freya once in a game that I played the other day, and oh my god, the damage she does is absurd. I watched her like 3-shot a Nemesis Ram. It's really damn scary. Nano is a stupid ability. It's really damn dumb. It's very strong, but of course, as I said, you do need to think about how you play her. And Ana is very much a skill reliant character. If you can't hit your sleep darts, like me, you will struggle a bit, and if you maybe miss a biotic grenade, that is a lot of value lost, because it's 14-second cooldown. Like, if you miss grenade, you are kind of screwed. If you miss sleep dart when someone jumps you or dives you, you are kind of screwed. And Nano, of course, I should mention as well that Nano can be used in a kind of panic scenario, like, oh no, our tank's almost dead. Quick, Nano him, bang. Like, you can do that, and it does work quite effectively, actually. But Ana is, kit-wise, one of the strongest characters in the entire game. She has good healing, she has good utility through her sleep dart and her anti-grenade, as well as obviously the anti-grenade being able to boost the healing of your allies, and Nano Boost is one of the strongest ults in the game, even like almost 10 years on. But moving on from her, you know, base gameplay mechanics, I would like to discuss her perks. She does have 2 minor perks, the first being Groggy, which makes it so when sleeping an enemy, and when a slept enemy wakes up, they are slowed and take 50 damage over 2 seconds. This is very good if their team consists of like a lot of divers. So say their team has like Hammond or Wrecking Ball, for those that don't just call him Hammond. I always call him Hammond. So Wrecking Ball, Tracer, Genji, Venture, characters like that want to like jump you. They want to get in on top of you and just kill you as quickly as possible. If you manage to sleep them, Groggy can ruin their day. Tracer especially. I mean, Tracer already gets one shot if she gets slept, but this will make it even harder. Groggy is very good against Wrecking Ball, though, because Wrecking Ball is a very movement-based character. He does suffer a lot from the slow. And the other minor perk you get to pick from is Speed Serum, where Nano Boost grants a 40% movement speed boost to both Ana and her target, meaning that Ana obviously is able to run quicker, and that can combo, of course, well with a lot of tanks. A lot of tanks suffer from, relatively slow movement, all things considered, so giving a movement speed buff to, say, someone like Ramatra when he's in Nemesis form is petrifying. Reinhardt really benefits from the extra move speed because, of course, he wants to be up and swinging his hammer at people. Hazard is a petrifying thing. Malgua is a petrifying thing. Most of the tanks benefit from the move speed buff. And say you're not good enough to hit your sleep darts like me, Speed Serum is usually the go-to because it is just generally useful. It's another buff on top of what Nano already does, which, as I have already gone into in depth, Nano is a dumb ability and it does a lot. So, yeah. But then, at level 3, you then get access to 2 major perks. The first being a Biotic Bounce, which after exploding causes the Biotic Grenade to bounce and explode again for 60 damage and healing. This is a very, very dumb perk, because now you have 2 chances to apply the effects of Biotic Grenade. So you can throw it at your team, the grenade will bounce forward, and you may be able to, anti the enemy team. You can obviously combo it to do even more damage. Actually, you're now able to one-shot most of the cast outside of tanks and bastions. Like if you sleep them and hit both explosions of the Biotic Grenade, which isn't very difficult, mind you, assuming you're obviously in the right scenario, you can just now one-shot 99% of the cast. There's a very good perk. I pick it almost every single time, and that's because I can't hit my shots. And why would I say that? Well, the other perk is known as Headhunter, where your Biotic Rifle can now crit enemies. Funny enough, this perk was actually buffed with the recent season release. Now your headshot crit multiplier is 2 times. That's a lot of damage. If you can aim and you can hit your headshots, you can kill people very quickly. You can 2-tap DPSs really, really damn well. I'm sure, obviously, you can understand how the Biotic Grenade bouncing thing works. So just for reference sake, I'm going to pick the crit perk and just to show, right? Roadhog, I believe, has in this training range 600 health, I believe. Maybe 800. It's one of the two. And if I just... That's a lot of damage. If we swap to, say, someone who... a relatively standard DPS, like Cass is a go-to, right? 2-shot. 2-shot. And by the way, of course, you are playing as Ana, so you can sleep and then just headshot. And look, wow, what are they in range of? Melee. Stupid, really. I don't know why they buffed the crit damage on it. She's now, and the thing is, she can, as I've said, sit away from really far away distances and just shoot people for shits and giggles. So the crit perk, if you have good enough aim, is very much worth it to take because, well, fun fact, it obviously applies on the, the extra, or the hipfire shots as well. It's a very, if you're good at aiming, pick the crit perk because you will be doing so much damage. You'll put your DPSs to shame, actually. But in most scenarios, at least for me personally, because I'm not very good at aiming, I pick the Biotic Grenade one because, I mean, it's 2 applications of the Biotic Grenade. Both of her major perks are just really good. They're just really good. Full stop. They're both very, very valuable. But yeah, Ana changed the game. She's been consistently one of the strongest supports in the entire game forever. She does good healing. She has very good utility. She is an amazing team player. She can single-handedly carry a team on her own sometimes, even ignoring any other supports. Of course, by the way, remember, Ana's doing all this on her own, ignoring the effects of any other support. I mean, hell, even a lot of her abilities are only now being given out to other characters. As I said, for the longest time, she was the only character that could, do anti, and, well, they gave that to Junker Queen. But for the longest time as well, one of her unique features was that she could obviously increase the amount of healing on allies. And only as of this year did we get another support that could do that in Wu Yang. Ana has just consistently been one of the most unique characters kit-wise, and I would argue still is. She's still incredibly strong, she's still unbelievably good, and I don't think anything could really knock her down. But with all of that said, I would like to now move on to talking about her design and her cosmetics. Now, as a design, Ana is very good. I really like Ana. She is a very immediately recognizable silhouette with the hood and the relatively large sniper rifle. Her clothes are quite dirty and dusted, which of course speaks to her active participation in, you know, Egypt's conflicts and the such. Egypt's conflicts? What am I talking about? I'm just living in Egypt, right? The dust is a indicative part of that. Her cloak is torn, in a sense. This is for what I'm going to do for the design, by the way. I feel like I should have mentioned this. I'm going to cover their Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2 designs and then compare the both of them. Because, obviously, a lot of these characters from their transition to Overwatch 1 to 2 did get new designs, and I obviously like to critique this sort of stuff. But Ana's design from Overwatch 1 is great. I do love it a lot. It's immediately recognizable with the hood and the eye patch. I find it odd that the hair that she has is over the eye patch, maybe as a sign of her being like embarrassed or ashamed of that fact in a sense. I mean, obviously lore-wise, she didn't seem like, I don't know, it's hard to tell how she feels about losing her eye sometimes. I don't know how, I mean, I just read all of her lore, I actually no clue how she feels about her eye. But either way, I get it, either way, yeah. I'll shut up, don't worry. In a minute, that is. But yeah, Ana's design is immediately recognizable with the hood, the big sniper rifle, the sort of, like, the biotic. I don't even know, like, why the biotic grenades look like that. Like, they've got, like, weird little yellow orbs in them, which is odd. But her design is pretty simple, all things considered, but I do like it a lot. There's obviously a lot of details with, like, the blue and the medic. I don't know. Hard to analyze Overwatch designs, actually, because there isn't, like, a lot of things that immediately stand out to me. I think the most standout part is that she has the Overwatch logo on her shoulder, but it's relatively, like, grey and faded out, which is obviously to imply and show visually sort of ties from Overwatch do exist, but they're very much in the shadows. They are kind of a thing in her past, and to show that, obviously, they made the Overwatch logo grayed out. Her weapon from the Overwatch 1 design is this kind of, I have no idea how she even made this, by the way. It's like a sniper rifle that shoots syringes that heal people. However she made this, I have no clue, but it's a very cool looking weapon. I think it's named the Biotic Rifle, if I remember rightly. I mean, I obviously just did the gameplay segment, so yeah, it is called the Biotic Rifle. But yeah, it's a pretty neat looking weapon. It does have some sort of text here. I believe that says OKR 122-3. I have not a clue what that stands for. How she got this weapon, no clue, but it's a neat enough weapon. I do also like the kind of like strap that obviously would sit on her shoulder or around her chest. And her sleep dart thing is also filled with that weird yellow liquid. A lot of this stuff is, there's going to be a lot of weird yellow liquid or weird stuff that I'm going to have to struggle to explain how these work. Like, how does the sleep dart work? God knows. But sleep darts do exist in the real world, of course. So whatever this yellow pus stuff is probably some very, very potent sleep toxin. I don't know. But yeah, Ana's design is pretty good in Overwatch 1. It's one of those, like, easily recognizable ones. I don't really know how to explain it further. I do very much like the Eye of Horus tattoo underneath her eye, which is obviously symbolic of Egyptian heritage and Egyptian nationality. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, her design's good. At least the Overwatch 1 design is good. I am not fond of her Overwatch 2 design, I must admit. This is going to be a very common thing. I'm going to say this a lot when it comes to Overwatch 2 designs, but they have taken a lot of the rugged, rough details of her Overwatch 1 design and just completely smoothed them out. Made her far cleaner, made her far more boring to look at, honestly. Like, just as a point of reference, her cloak. Her cloak in the Overwatch 1 is this sort of dusted, sandy color. It's got rips and holes at the bottom. It looks like it actually is dirty at the bottom as well. And come Overwatch 2, it's just blue. It's just plainly blue. I do like a lot, though, that it does have, like, I believe that's the symbol of Ra on the back, like the golden eagle with a little sun above its head. That's a cool way further to show her Egyptian sort of heritage. But what confuses me about this design, right, is that obviously she is meant to be still active in Egypt at the time of Overwatch 2. Why the shit is she wearing like a winter camo scarf? Like, that is winter camo, right? The white and grey colors. Why is she wearing a winter camo scarf in the middle of Egypt? Like, the reasons for her very muted color scheme in the greys and sort of beiges is because she's in Egypt. She is in a sandy environment. And for those questioning why she would be wearing so much clothing in a sandy environment or somewhere as hot as Egypt, it is actually recommended to do that, if I remember rightly, because obviously you can cover your skin up from, you know, the very, very hot sun rays. It's kind of like a weird counteractive thing where you actually want to wear more clothes even though it is hot. And I mean, that same effect is still here. She is still like completely covered up outside of her fingers and her face, but the color scheme just doesn't work for apparently what she's trying to do. Like, you stick out like a sore thumb. Like, the accents of blue here were fine to show that she is, you know, a medic of some kind. But here she is just completely blue. Like, the cloak is completely blue. The top of her sort of hood is blue. Like, she sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, I'm sorry, you would see the sniper from a mile away. She's just a bright blue beacon to shoot at. She was like basically saying, "Hey guys, shoot at me!" Like, and the snow camo collar just confuses me immensely. Yeah, I'm not very fond of Ana's redesign from Overwatch 1 to 2, and you will probably notice I'm not fond of many of the redesigns from Overwatch 1 to 2. But the sniper rifle, on the other hand, is a bit more detailed. It's a bit more high-tech, per se. Still shoots with syringes, still has like a Egyptian inscription on the side of it. Also kind of looks a bit like Ra, in a sense. But yeah, the sniper is a bit more clunky and more mechanical, whereas in Overwatch 1 it looked a bit sort of handmade, almost, with how dirty the strap was and how the ends of the paint are kind of chipping away. Like, this one looks a bit more militaristic, like something she would have been given by the army, with flatter colors, sort of more, you know, militaristic looks. And the sleep dart, I think it just became white. No, it also got like a kind of militaristic change up with a more firm grip and metal bits on the pipe for it. Yeah, it's a little bit more like snazzy or clean, and that's kind of just the general thing with a lot of these Overwatch 2 designs. They are just simply more clean, and I'm not particularly fond of them. But yeah, I think her design is good, her Overwatch 1 design at least. But she also got kind of like a facial change, like her eyes got a bit slimmer, and she looks a tad bit older. There's only like a 2-year time gap between Overwatch 1 and 2 lore-wise, and I think she's like 62, I believe. I think that puts her as one of the older characters, or oldest characters in the game, at least on the women's side. I think the oldest male character in the game, I believe, is Sigma, I think, but either way. When it comes to Ana's cosmetics, because as I said, I like to mention these sorts of things, she does have the ever elusive mythic skin. I was not very happy when this skin got revealed. This was during the season where they obviously added the PvE missions and added all this stuff around Null Sector, and Ramattra didn't get anything. Nothing besides a voice line, I believe. And honestly, I believe this design of turning someone into a Omnic, like a Null Sector Omnic, I really think this should have gone to Zenyatta at the time. I'm going to be completely honest. I think Zenyatta, turning him into, you know, a Null Sector robot would have been a perfect mythic choice for him, and you could have had, obviously, like, his ultimate be colored in purple as, like, a evil Zenyatta. Like, that would have been really, really good, in my opinion. But still, this is a fine enough mythic. This was just before they began to kind of, if I put my French words correctly, shit the bed. This was just before they shit the bed. This mythic does have some level of customization. There's 2 separate weapons. There's 3 different kind of styles you can pick from, which is better than the 2 mythics that came after it. The first one is, well, Null Sector Robot. Looks pretty good. Null Sector Robot Part 2, but with hood. And Null Sector Robot Part 3, but looking a little bit more human with, like, wire hair and stuff. It's a fine enough mythic. It's also got 3 colorations. The default Null Sector purple colors. This coloration, which is kind of like beiges and oranges and whites, and then a third of red, black, and gold. I'm obviously a fan of being a Ramattra fan. I'm always going to pick the Null Sector coloration. I personally like this one the most because it makes it's like a perfect merger between looking like a robot and trying to look like Ana. And per its description, like its bio over here, it's kind of a failed attempt to replicate Ana's skills in a robotic form, which is, you know, quite a cool idea for a mythic. I just, again, kind of wish it went to Zen instead of Ana, but that's just my personal opinion. And it does have some unique ability effects and sounds, a lot of more robotic sounds for everything that she does, and she does have a voice filter on as well, where instead of, like when she spawns in, she says, "Oh, I will not leave a broken world behind." But with this mythic on, she says, "I will break this world," or something like that. But speaking of her sort of legendary lineup, and if I just click ownership, member, all, there are some good skins here. There's this skin, which is a very clear standout of her as her younger days, when she was obviously like second in command of Overwatch. It's a really lovely skin. It's cool to have like a young Ana skin. They have been kind of spamming them recently, which is a bit of an annoyance. Like if we just scroll down, there's a few skins down here, like Blue Lotus. I'm not sure why they made another young Ana skin. I would have loved to have seen her like old and in wedding gear, because this was kind of like what the idea of the skin set was, that they were wearing like wedding flower themed attire. I don't know why they felt the need to make her young. I just don't think that was a really good idea. I don't even think this skin was meant for Ana. Like there's been some comparisons with her facial features with how she looks in her other young skins. It just kind of looks wrong, like it was made for someone else. For some reason they gave her this skin. I just reminded myself of this one. I'm not sure why she got an Oni skin. I don't think it particularly fits her. Sniper is a good skin. Another example of her. Oh, this is a look from her being in, like, you know, the military, the Egyptian military. I'm very fond of the weapon. I know some people don't like how clunky it is, but I really like the bipod on it. And is it a tribe? No, bipod, because there's only 2 legs. I like the scope on it as well. It's very indicative of like when I used to play like Call of Duty when I was young. It reminds me a lot of the sniper rifles in that. She does have the pirate skin, which I'm very fond of. I really like the parrot on her shoulder. Unfortunately, the parrot doesn't make an appearance in any like highlight intros or anything, but the gun is also really nice on this one. It's a pirate. I'm always going to be a little bit dispositioned to pirate skins. I like pirates a lot. She also has this, which is a very good skin. Wasteland shows her time probably in Junkertown. She does have a set of legendaries from battle passes. This is a shining success in my opinion. I love Bog Witch. I'm very fond of the gun with all the little mushrooms on it. One of my friends really doesn't like the gun, and I always argue with them on it. And of course, if we go down to her epics, she does have the Shrike skin, which is of course what she was being teased as before her initial release. And this is a very, very good skin as well. It's very simple, but very good. I'm very fond of like these masked skins that she has, like Ghoul as well. Tal creeps the shit out of me. I know this is like a cultural thing, but this is, in my opinion, very creepy. And if I remember, yeah, they changed the skin. Wow, why did they do that? For those that don't know, this skin had a hood that was down and she just kind of had her hair out. For some reason with the recent patch or the recent season, they gave her a hood. What the shit? That's so dumb. She does also have, of course, many skins down here. Cosmic is a weird recolor. This is a cool skin, like a kind of like Greek armor in a sense. This is... Why is this unavailable? Huh? Why is her summer skin unavailable? Weird. But yeah, she's got some pretty good skins, a few recolors. This is a cool idea of her being part of Talon and being like Arch Commandant. It's very neat. Some more recolors. As I already said, I don't like the skin. And even more recolors. Don't you love them? But yeah, Ana is a good character. I like her a lot. Gameplay-wise, she really, really does shine. She's easily one of the strongest characters in the game. Story-wise, she's relatively interesting, of course, being one of the original founding members of Overwatch. I don't really feel super strongly on her story. It's relatively standard. I like... this is kind of a thing that's going to pop up a lot, but a lot of Overwatch characters don't really have enough depth for me to really get interested in them. Like, there's obviously some neat tidbits here and there, but due to Overwatch's nature as a live service multiplayer hero shooter, it doesn't get enough, like, story exploration for me to, like, really attach to these characters, unless they have initial personalities that really, like, just click with me. I don't particularly click with Ana immediately. I don't obviously, like, share a lot of the life experiences that she has, and I don't really have anything I can particularly compare it to. Obviously, I can empathize and sympathize with her, but of course, I don't have any personal experience I can compare myself to, and due to my autism and autistic tendencies, I do struggle kind of sometimes to link with people unless I have something of my own to compare it to. But anyways, getting off track. Ana is a good character, an interesting character, and a good way to start the series off, considering that she is, of course, one of the founding members of Overwatch, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I like Ana. She's good, awesome. Staple of any good comp meta, and I don't think she'll ever be run out of the meta. It's been almost like 10 years. She's never not been good. But with all of that said, this is the end of the video, and I hope you have enjoyed the first episode in the Overwatchathon. If you have, please do like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day, whether that be good morning, afternoon, evening, etc. And the next episode in the series will be on none other than the ever lovely Baptiste.